Hey, everybody. Welcome to Why Am I Yelling? Truth episode number 2. Um, if you are not aware of the series that I'm doing for Why Am I Yelling Live over the next, we're going to start with the quarter through March. We're talking about truth. And starting in February, I'm going to have guests on at Why Am I Yelling Live to talk about their truth in their business, truth in their life, truth in how they faced their truth and were able to transform their lives for the better. I think it's a really great conversation to have, especially just by virtue of the year that we've all gone through. I think that, being able to have conversations about truth on different levels can be really helpful. And so today I want to talk about accountability and how using the truth to hold yourself and others accountable um, can really be a game changer in your relationships, in your life, and in being able to accomplish and administer different things for yourself. So, it's been a crazy road the last, year. Let's call it a year because it's almost a year that we've all been, in quarantine or dealing with the coronavirus. Um, there has been so much packed into the last 10 months alone, just by virtue of, COVID and racial injustice and social injustice and LGBTQ stuff and politics and all the things that have affected us, that there were a lot of people who needed to be held accountable and they have not been. And so a lot of that has been interesting to witness and experience, but it's also been difficult for a lot of us to understand and digest. So think about how you like to hold yourself accountable, whether that is in your personal life, in your business, in your relationships, in some way, shape, or form that um, could potentially change the trajectory of your day, of your year, of your week, of your month, of whatever the experience is that you're wanting to have. I think that, finding the truth in accountability is a powerful and empowering thing all at the same time. I think that when you can look into a mirror or can look at an experience or a situation in a certain way and say, hey, that's not right. That's not okay. Um, you know, we have to change that. This is what the truth actually is, and this is how it's going to help us, get to where we need to get. I'm also going to caveat this by saying we have a new puppy, and he is in the room with me while I'm filming this. So if I start moving around to open doors to let him out, you'll know why. That's the truth. So accountability. So here, what have we learned about accountability? By not holding people accountable, we get into positions or into places or into situations that can potentially be very unsavourable. Case in point, where we are in politics in our world, right? And this is not going to be a political discussion. That's just the most obvious one, right? Or if we don't hold people accountable or ourselves accountable or situations or events accountable, um, how are we going to get better? How are we going to make our own lives better, make the lives of people around us better? How are we going to contribute to the education and the learning and the growth of other people, including ourselves? And I think accountability is one of those ways. And being able to speak the truth through accountability or in accountability when you're doing those things. And a lot of times when you think about accountability, you think about, having an accountability partner to help you, go on a diet, or having an accountability partner or a coach to help you reach the next goal, or a partner in life to help you hold you accountable to, doing the right thing, a parent to holding your children accountable to making good choices and all that stuff, right? So lots of different definitions for the word accountability. And infusing the truth in that is really important because there are a lot of people out there who are leading lives that are not full of truth, but can still potentially hold themselves accountable for things. Uh, that will eventually catch up to them, right? The truth always comes out. It will always shows up. It shows up a lot at the most inconvenient time, but it is there and it is available. And so this series that I am doing is about, the importance of truth, the importance of truth in every facet and area of our lives. And for a lot of people, it's hard to speak the truth. Um, Sometimes there are things that come up from your past lives or a past situation or, or something that's coming up, for you now. And you might feel like I kind of have to bend the truth a little bit, right? I kind of have to like, not divulge all of the information. And so when that happens, you're not allowing yourself the true experience. You're not allowing yourself to feel what you need to feel because you're afraid of it, right? You're afraid to feel the fear, and you're afraid to feel overwhelmed, and you're afraid to feel all of those things, even though it's something that we feel every day, right? Especially in the climate that we're living in. There's a lot of uncertainty and overwhelm and fear and stress and anxiety and all the things. Um, so it is a new year, and a lot of times what we like to do is make resolutions or find words or set goals for ourselves. And so, how are you holding yourself accountable for the goals that you have set or are planning to set or are working on setting to get through the next X amount of days and weeks and months? And whether that is having, accountability for your job or your relationships or your, goal of exercising or losing weight or whatever it is, right? How are you holding yourself accountable? And on a bigger picture, think about the global issues that we have facing us right now. How are we holding our leaders accountable through the truth, right? The truth will always come out. Last Wednesday was a complete disaster at the Capitol, and the truth is coming out in drips and droves. And it is, astounding at what is actually happening in our country right now. But the truth is always going to come out, it's always going to show up. And we have to be able to not be afraid to use our voices to hold people accountable in these kinds of situations. Now, I am certainly not a high-powered person in government, but I have a voice and I know how to use my voice. And so I am not afraid to reach out to local government officials in my town or in my neighborhood or in my city or in my state and, voice my opinion and hold them accountable for doing the right thing and working to get the truth. I think that when the truth comes out at the end of the day, no matter what the situation is, it could be helpful, it could be hurtful, but it's always going to be a learning and growth opportunity. And that, can go a lot of different ways, right? It doesn't always necessarily have to be good and it doesn't always necessarily have to be bad, right? So I often like to think of accountability. I have an accountability, um, a friend who is another coach, and we are holding ourselves accountable to some of the goals that we have both set for ourselves individually this year. We just felt like, you know what, it's a new year. Last year was kind of like a wash for a lot of people. Um, and we have to kind of figure out what our next steps are and what our next moves are and what we're doing. And so a friend of mine and we reached out to each other. We got on a call and we were like, you know what? Let's hold each other accountable for the goals that we want. Let's do it and we don't have to do it for the whole year. Let's do it for the next, couple of weeks. And then we can do it for the next couple of weeks after that. And when, their bite-sized goals are definitely more attainable, right? So think about accountability in your life and think about how truth is partnered with that accountability and what the outcome you want to achieve from setting those goals and holding yourself and those people around you accountable for sharing their truth and you speaking yours. Truth episode number 2, accountability. How do you use it and why is it important for you? And where are you going to use it next? You have a voice. Use that voice. Have a great weekend, everybody. It's a long weekend. Another episode coming your way next week. See you soon.